Hello everybody and welcome back to the stream. Thank you so much for joining me. Today I want to just talk a little bit about a few things. I don't even have a jumper on, isn't that cool? I wanted to discuss a couple things. Mainly I'm going to actually play some Vicky 3 obviously. And look, here it's not showing it, but here it is. Come on. Come on, OBS. Just abusive to me sometimes. But the main thing I wanted to talk about at the beginning of the stream is I wanted to talk about the new DLC, the announcement that's just happened. And I'm very excited for it. Well, this happened just yesterday, but I was busy yesterday, so I wasn't able to talk about it. I'm hyped, to say the least. I'm very hyped. I think it's going to be cool as hell. I think it's going to be something really, really good, and I want to talk about it a little bit, basically. So, what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to have a little chat with you guys about the DLC. I'm going to basically go over my thoughts of it. We're going to watch it together. And this will go up on YouTube as well. I'm not sure if I'll edit it or if I'll make it just like a live stream. Maybe one of those two. I'm not sure. We'll see. But the idea here is that we basically just have a little discussion about it. Because I think I'm very hyped for it. But I think a lot of people are not necessarily going to be excited at the idea of new Victoria 3 DLC. When let's be honest, the game is still a bit light. It's still a bit light, being completely fair. It needs some love. So let's have a check. We are going to look at the video itself. I'm excited. I'm going to open this bad boy up. Give me that video. All you get is the OBB video. Come on, what's the actual... There it is. Nope. Trying to find an actual video talking about. I don't want to do a freaking react shot content. No, thank you. All right, Victoria 3 DLC. Give me some spice. There it is. So we're just gonna have a little time, and we're gonna watch it together. If you haven't seen it yet, I'm hyped. We're gonna talk about what this means and take a look at some gameplay within Vicky itself. So let's go. All right.
Peggy 12.
Oh, God, it's already started. Hold your frickin' horses. All right. I'm also going to be recording this for YouTube separately, so... Actually, now that I think about it, I could probably just download it and edit it that way. That's probably easier. All right, let's do it. All right. Victoria 3, the new DLC trailer. Let's have a discussion.
Peggy 12.
Peggy 12, hit me with it. I'm 11, so I can't. Blah, blah, blah. The idea of a new DLC so early is interesting to me. I'm going to stop every time I see something really cool. I don't even care. If you watch the trailer, it'll be linked below. But if these graphics are actually a part of the game, I think that'll be really interesting, but I don't know whether or not that's going to be the case. I like the look of the city textures. I feel like that's been changed. There's a bit more actually there. Looks pretty cool. And this is the big stuff. Political agitators. Give me the Napoleon. Give him to me. I need Napoleon. I'm so upset that there's basically nothing in Base Vicky 3 for Napoleon Bonaparte III. And I really, really love him. I think he's such an interesting, unique, fascinating thing. I missed it. And so I'm so excited. Not that I'm a monarchist or anything, but I'm very interested to see how this can affect the game and all the different events. This is Rosa Luxemburg. Cool Poland stuff. Lenin! Give me that Lenin! Oh, baby. Under Atari. The League is planned at Guangdong Sun Yat-se. Would this be the Heavenly Kingdom? I'm not sure. But the base concept of it is fascinating to me. So they actually now do get roles as agitators, which is very exciting. Kessler, oh baby. There's a Luxembourg with a trade union communists. You can exile leadership or command them. You can exile dissidents. I suppose really I should be muting the crap out of this, but here we are. Ooh, and recruited by other countries as an agitator, and it increases radicalism. I love that they've done with the menu screen. That looks very cool. Hello, you're right. I just had breakfast tea. Thank you. That's very kind of you. I just got a tea order. For the mallow, please. Oh, nice. You're always welcome to interrupt me for tea. My God, you'd better. All right, as we were. Okay. I love this. I think this is going to be great. The fact that you can actually now have agitators who specifically lead and grow specific laws for Council Republic, for certain, like, for cultural exclusion. I think that is excellent. A much needed change. And it means that you can actually choose your agitators or control them. There's that sweet presidential republic movement to get rid of the Orleanist monarchy in France in 1830. Sun Yat-sen is the leader of the founded republic, says Lion in chat. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, great. Thank you. That's helpful. I'm surprised I didn't know that. Okay, radicalism. Again, if these little pitchfork symbols rising up and down, I think I'm going to like that. I think that'll be cool. Oh, my eyes. Vive la France. Vive la démocratie. Already, you can see the river line. The rivers are a lot more detailed. Very nice. Oh my God. They've actually created a custom start for 1846 under constitutional monarchy. Oh, yes, there goes Louis. And in turn, we get our sweet Napoleon. The Paris Commune. Oh, and this is after. This is the Paris Commune as a result of the failure of Napoleon III after the Battle of Sedan, wherein he dropped everything apart and fell apart and was captured. And there was a brief anarchist commune, I'm not sure, a syndicalist commune within it ruled Paris for a little while. That's fascinating. I would love to play as that. Richard Dreyfuss, the Dreyfus Affair. This is such a cool thing. I'm so excited. It's just not in the game. You gotta have the Dreyfus Affair. This is fantastic. It's not only a really interesting thing about Jewish relations, but it's also it blew apart French society. J'accuse! Have you ever heard that phrase? Comes from that. It really broke the society of one of the greatest powers in the world apart, all over this one thing. That is definitely different. Ali Abbas and Tourelle being separate. Formation of the French Foreign Legion. Nice new events. We got Napoleon endorses monarchy and autocracy. Who's this lad? I'm not even sure who this lad is. Legitimists, Orleanists, yes. The divided monarchists, we are... Oh, okay, there we go. A unique UI theme and a unique thing for them themselves. Ooh. This is just... This doesn't look any different at all. Very nice buildings. I like the triangle articulated tops of the factory. Those were very, like, French and Parisian in style. Oh, I like that pentagonal stuff. That's some nice designs. Oh, these buildings. I forget their names, but these ginormous blocks that essentially become like early apartment buildings. I think they're so fantastic. The Triomphe, the Tower, which in its proper coloring as well, which is very nice. That's the thing up there. That looks cool. I'm excited. I mean, obviously the trailer gives you basically nothing. So let's talk about the dev diary. So dev diary is what I want. It's what I want to discuss. We're just going to go over it, lightly and just discuss a few things because I think the biggest change is this one, and the getting rid of laws being this dumb ass 5% success chance, wait 2 years to reload, or reload before every tick. I hate it so much. And so what they're doing is they're making it, to sum it up, they're making it so that you have a series of setbacks. Instead of just, well, there's still success, advance, debate, and stall. You now get the setback system, where you can have a number of setbacks which reduce your likelihood for their success, but you can get 3 before it's completely cancelled. And I think that's so much better. It's going to make for events to feel more meaningful and useful. And I think they've made it so you have to wait 2 years if you cancel a lot to put it back again. Which will be really, really interesting because it completely changes Japan up like crazy. When you cancel that, yeah, 2 years, there it is, yeah. Oh yeah, give me that redacted. The chances of government petitions so as to be able to actually pass a law, and this happens whenever you put a party in government. So if you put them in there, they will ask you to put this in, and if you don't, you will suffer. And I think that's so good. Obviously, the armed forces would want professional army, and there's a better revolution clock, which I think is going to be a very good idea. The revolution system is dumb right now, and it's going to improve greatly. Very excited for that. The next changes within the new law system, I'm just super hyped about it. We've got actual land reform, true and honest land reform, from serfdom to tenant farming. I think that's going to be so good. I know that doesn't seem that interesting, but I think that the system of land reform and the way it develops throughout modern culture is fascinating, with tenant farmer systems existing in the UK all the way up until, God, the mid-20th century. And, alongside tenant farming, a mallow and a tea. Thank you so much. All right. Moving towards commercialized agriculture for more modern economies, and the idea of homesteading, as in like the US idea. The only thing is, I would really prefer more. I want more broken down in this system. I want it to be a bit more compartmentalized. I think just homesteading versus commercialized agriculture. I mean, the US had a combination of homesteading and commercialized agriculture, but there's only so much we can ask from a game. You can only ask for so much granularity. I find the idea of that it doesn't seem to. It's a little weird. Obviously, it just changes production methods, but collectivize increases the strength of bureaucrats, which is crazy good for what you're going for. And if you do get rid of your tenant farming, your landowners should basically kill everyone and explode. The atheism makes sense. I was surprised this wasn't in the base game, to be honest, because communism isn't necessarily a state atheist government. And a technocracy and single party. Yes, technocracy, academics, engineers, officers, single party state. I want that. I don't want that as a thing, but I would love this in the game. I think it'd be so good. Oh, it'd be great. Territorial republics, individualized governments, enlightened despot, cybernetic state. I mean, that name doesn't feel good to me, but I like it. And pièce de résistance, industry banned. I need this in my life. I need industry banned. 25% investment cool for the aristocrats. Agriculture, ranches, plantation, rural strength, no tech. Hell yeah. That's going to be such a good run. I'm obviously going to have to play that. That is going to be so fun. Like taking France and like force UK and forcing them to ban all industry. That'll be cool. Oh, that'll be great. Finally, we've got the most recent one, which is the announcement of Voice of the People, going more into the idea of exiled agitators. This one doesn't. This DLC, this dev diary really doesn't talk too much, but the ability to actually have more control and more granulation over the leaders of your parties. You can exile them. You can encourage them. Ooh, cement the House of Bonaparte. 10 years of uninterrupted rule. The eternal House of Bonaparte. Oh, that's going to be so good. The Bread Centaur. The Bread Centaur. It's the France. So there's some small changes within France, and there's also going to be the changes within Algeria, and then basically justifying why we're paying money for this. But that's okay. I am reasonably okay with this as an idea. I think it's going to be really, really good. Let's take a look at the game itself. So the thing that I'm most excited for, obviously, is the political agitator system. I think that's going to be just absolutely brilliant. I think the whole base concept of that is going to be really, really helpful. However, the main thing I think is going to be Le Napoleon. I want the Bonapartes. I want that to collapse. And I want France to be insanely strong and also insanely weak at the same time. I want them to have that weird dichotomy. If you're not aware, France is a really interesting country demographically in this time period. They experienced a demographic slump. For example, they had more population than Britain and around a similar population to Germany in around 1870. And then by World War One, Germany beat them by 20 million, and Britain beat them by 10 or 15 million. People stopped making babies in France. They just stopped having children due to various cultural shifts. And it definitely creates an interesting demographic dynamic, as well as the fact that France generally was not particularly urbanist. There's a great post on the Victoria 3 subreddit at the moment. It's quite hot. It's quite hot. It's hot. So hot. It's talking about the demographic shift of France. There's some really interesting things you can read about it. But fundamentally, France was not an urban country. 50% of people in a GameStar of 1836 lived in cities in Britain, or a large urban environments, not necessarily cities. In France, only 25% of people lived in urban environments in the same year, which is crazy when you think about it. Obviously, France, I mean, actually, to be honest, it's best exemplified by the fact that, look at this. This is the home countries, right? The home countries of this has 2.8 million. It has no peasants at all, and 132,000 unemployed for migration purposes for the game. But if you go to Paris, it's obviously it's less population, but it's 1.33 million, but it still has 46,000 peasants. There's still, look at all this agriculture, and there's barely any factories. Though to be fair, Paris was not the factory center at the time. Burgundy, for example, as you can see with its furniture manufacturing, but it still has so many peasants making so many goods. Their factories are just so divided. And it's why the number one thing you can do as a player in France is to specialize your economies, just build certain things in certain states, and go absolutely crazy with debt. I mean, you start with 30 construction, which is just, you literally want to go like, and build like all the construction possible. Go to like high taxes, freaking tax services, and just go crazy and build as much as you can. Paris lower SOL than the average. The standard of living of Paris is... Am I blind? It's 9.6. And indeed, the standard of living of the capital is lower than the country. And that's a great point, Lion. I think this is something worth considering. France, demographically, struggles. It's a place that has difficulties. But the reason for that is because it's the capital, so it starts with quite a lot of unemployed pops. But you can immediately hire a lot of people by putting them into the construction sector, and it hires a lot of people. Algeria is going to get a lot of changes there because the game starts in 1836, and a few years prior, was it only a few years prior? Don't you have a truce? It was within a period of time. There was the invasion of Algeria, and then the second invasion of Algeria begins in the 1840s, which then conquered the rest of this in Constantine. But technically, this should be like a smaller state. This should be a broken-up country. And there should be more resources here. Algiers has basically nothing. It's got a little bit of lead and some iron. Over here, a little bit of iron and a little bit of sulfur. I mean, this is the main reason, is the sulfur. But this was actually an extremely iron-rich area. It was super dense, and it was really good, though it was of a different quality and grade that meant it wasn't as useful in the later 19th century. And the one thing I think you will notice as well, if you look around. Now, hang on, let me just make 100% sure before I start shooting my mouth off. Okay, no, there is no steel. Okay, never mind. No, neither countries have... No, there is. There it is. Yeah, so Yorkshire has 10 steel mills, right? There is a steel mill industry in Britain at this time. I was right. There is one in Alsace-Lorraine. And that's it. There's no other steel mill. I now realize I could have just looked at my total buildings. There is just nothing. And that is indicative of France in general. It has almost no steel. It doesn't know what steel is. Obviously, the Bessemer process has yet to be invented. But, you know, you can really measure the economic output of modern European countries during this time by their steel output. And it's a pretty decent metric. More steel means more economic growth, somewhat. And so I think the main thing I'm interested with the changes for France, I want to see more economic granularity, I want to see more demographic problems, and I want to see all kinds of Bonapartist shenanigans. And hell, I want to see a Brittany independence movement. Let's go. And like, I don't know, Poitou and freaking Aquitaine claims for England or something. That'd be dumb. Actually, I haven't actually done this. Maybe I should. I should like reclaim as Britain. Like, you should take back Normandy and then take back Aquitaine and Poitou. It'd be very fun. All right. I'm really, really excited for this DLC. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Let me know in the comments what you think about it and if you think I've missed some understanding of certain things. I'm going to try and keep up to date with the dev diaries when they come out. I might try and make videos about them and try and analyze them every week. It could be fun. I really have a lot of thoughts on these. I've kind of gone over all the DLCs at once, but I think it could be fun just to analyze them now and again because I love this game and I love this time period. I have a lot to say about it. That's it. Thank you so much for watching. I was Aldrin and I'll continue to be, and let's get ready for some Louis Napoleon Bonaparte III. It's gonna be cool. Bye-bye. All right. As I said, this was just me talking a little bit and chatting around. I'm gonna go back to my Japan game now, and what I would love it is for you to do is if you could come on over to me on Twitch, because like I said, I was trying this out on YouTube because the literal only reason I was putting on YouTube. I do kind of want to stream on YouTube more, but the reason I was putting this out on YouTube is because I was hoping to make a video directly from it and put it directly up. So I like that idea. It's a concept. So I'm going to do that, but I'm going to move over to Twitch for the remainder of the stream for the actual content of me playing Vicky. I like the separation because this is going up on YouTube, so I like that Twitch can watch it live and you guys here can watch it for my edited videos. Cool. Also, we recently passed 15,000 subscribers just yesterday, I think, and in fact, we're already 15,015. Not really sure why. We're doing surprisingly well. Got quite a few subs in the last month or two. People seem to be liking the Vicky videos, so I'm going to keep making them. I love you guys. I do hope to see you more. So let's go play some freaking Vicky. I also really do need to put some more EU4 content. But let's do it. Come on over to Twitch and enjoy some gloriousness of my Japan. I'll see you guys there. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.